Hello everybody, and we're back here again. We're going to be finishing off where we left off last time, but as you probably noticed, this one is recorded and we're not live, guys, so hopefully you'll be able to see everything that I've done already and so far. You can see in the top corner that is the paper version, and you can see in the middle of the screen that's the digital version. We've already got the paper version done, and it's done on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. If you didn't check that one out, definitely go and check that video out, guys. Otherwise, enjoy the digital version. And if you want to know how I got to this point so far, don't forget to check out all the other videos this week, as this week for Half and Half series is Venom, if you didn't already notice. So like I said, we've already done all of the basic sort of outlining, colouring and all of that good stuff. Again, all of that is recorded and most of that was live, guys. But I thought you needed to sort of really see the details that I've been putting in, because on the camera you can't actually see all the colours and the shading and all the things that I will be putting in now. So that's why I'm going to do it all digitally, and that's why I'm recording it. I'm going to be using the texture tools once again, as I always do, down in here. For the hair, and for the Symbiote Venom, I'm not sure whether I should sort of shade it out or if I should try and make it look a bit wet, which, to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure how to do that yet, but I've learnt some I've learnt a few things already on what these texture things, even the painting pixels, all sorts of good stuff here, guys. And I mean, this is, well, for me personally, because I've never used Photoshop other than when I've been for a training day or things like that, I couldn't buy it if I even ever wanted to. It's out my price range. It's 20 quid a month, and it's just like, that's a ridiculous price for what I'll be using it for. So I went ahead and I looked up what the free ones were, and I went to Draw with Jazza, and I saw a review by him. He's reviewed quite a few different ones. Every single one that he did was either cheap or free, and this was the free one that he really took to. So this is why I've sort of had a look at it and thought, you know what, I'm keeping this one, I'm downloading, and I have done ever since. If you want to check out what else it can do, guys, there are many videos each week. Every Thursday and Friday I will do a digital version of the drawing that I've done, or drawing sketch that I did on paper. And so that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the colouring and the sketch and the inking for the paper version, and then Thursday and Friday will be digital. I don't always manage to get the digital ones out and available until Saturday, so don't forget to hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, because if you want to keep up with what I'm getting up to, guys, you've got to hit that subscribe button. I know a couple of you guys already have, so thank you very much for doing that already. And hopefully you will enjoy this digital version. My name is Blut084, BLUT084, Art and Games. I'm here every single day on YouTube, occasionally on Mixer, but every day and night over on Instagram. Same name, different place, guys. All you got to do is go and check it out. If you want to win some comics, then come on over to Instagram and give me a hell yeah. Otherwise, leave a comment down below. We're going to get on now and get a little bit of shading done on this eye, a little bit of shading on this eye, a little bit around the mouth, and possibly put a bit of texturizing towards this jacket he's wearing, and I definitely want to do a little bit more to the Venom. So we have been listening to Agent Venom, Secret Agent to Space Knight, ending full story this week, and I'm going to be continuing on last with that, because we've got about roughly 20 minutes left on that one, and I don't want you guys to miss out on what actually the good story. And then what we'll do is find something else from Comic Storian and listen to that one as well. There's plenty of Venom stories that are out there. I just enjoy listening to the Agent Venom story because it's a new story, and it sort of takes Venom to a different place in his evolution in his character. If you want to know anything else about the character, guys, again, leave me a comment down below, or keep listening and I'll leave you a link to the Comic Storian, where I always listen to my stories. But if you want to listen to anything else by the Comic Storian, don't forget, every single video has something by them, and I like listening to them. So if you like listening to them, let me know. Let's keep going, guys, and let's get inking.
to open his eyes and he sees himself as a child. The voice of his father rings out, shouting how he just stepped on one of his dolls. What the hell is wrong with him for even playing with dolls? Flash then turns back to see his father with Venom's face. Venom begins to break things while Flash tells him not to, and Venom says that he's not going to hurt him, just knock some sense into him. He then starts to show Flash images of his life, back when he used to pick on Peter, back when all he did was drink, everything bad in his life. And Flash shouts for him to stop. I'm in control here. I just need to get out of you. Suddenly a light begins to shine, revealing a passage. Flash walks to it, reaching out, telling himself that it can't be as bad as what's inside of there, right? But outside, Tarna, Ika, and Pick are all fighting the rage-filled Venom. While Venom continues to beat them down, Pick asks what are they supposed to do, and Tarna tells her that they need to stick to the plan and hope that they survive. Back inside of Venom, Flash follows the light to find the man that he idolizes, Spider-Man. Through him, Venom tells Flash that he is just pathetic, trying to be like him. As Spider-Man jumps down, Flash says that he's not really, and the two begin to battle back and forth. And just as Flash begins to win, Venom tells him, "Go on, finish him!" And as he grabs him, Venom outside grabs Ika, and she shouts for him to try and resist. Back inside, Flash's vision begins to change again, and this time, it's of his mother in a hospital bed. She tells him that he promised the monsters wouldn't hurt her, but he's the monster. He's always been the monster. While Flash struggles, outside, Tarna tells 803 to lock onto their coordinates. They're out of time. Venom starts to grow larger and larger, acting as if he's fighting something. And Ika then asks what is he fighting, and Tarna tells her he's fighting himself. Inside, Flash sits as Venom is telling his mother that he's sorry that he couldn't protect her. She hugs him, saying that she knows it's not his fault. She still loves him. And outside, as 803 gets into position, he fires the jets, melting Venom. But inside, as Flash and his mother hug, she tells him that she forgives him and fades away. A short while later, Flash is standing in Tarna's ship looking at Venom through a containment tube. He tells everyone thank you for saving him and for not killing Venom. Tarna says that whatever he does next is up to him, and Flash tells her that Venom needs to go home. Tarna asks if he's sure, and Flash tells her not really, but the Clintar might be the only ones who can save him now. However, there is something that I saw while inside of Venom, a small bright spot. He then pilots a course to head back to Earth, right down to Philadelphia. He goes on saying that he could never really reach that light, but it was as if something from it was missing. After Venom was contained, Flash and the others went to the Clintar homeworld, where Venom was placed under trial because of his recent actions. As everyone watched the trial, they could hear Venom scream out in pain, and Flash says that this isn't a trial, it's an execution. Deep down in the pit of the arena, Venom stands there trying to defend himself against the other Clintars who tell him that he needs to still be cleansed. Flash tries to enter the arena, but a force field blocks his path. Pick then asks what does he plan on doing, and he says that he's going to go in and even the odds a bit. Pick says that sounds like a terrible plan. Mind if she joins? Flash and the others sneak down into the entrance of the arena where the two guards are stationed. Just as Flash jumps in to fight them, Mitchell calls out for everyone to stand down. He's seen enough bloodshed for one day, so open up the blast shields. The guards ask if he's sure, and Mitchell says that if the human wishes to die with his friend, so be it. The shield doors begin to open, and through Mitchell, Tarna's voice tells him to jump. Mitchell runs through the doorway, shouting to Tarna, asking what has she done. Tarna changes back from Mitchell's form and tells Flash that he needs to hurry. Go! Flash jumps down through the opening into the arena, and he asks Venom if he needs a little help. Venom, still filled with rage, lashes out at Flash, and Flash says that he probably should have seen that one coming. While the Clintars continue to attack Venom, Flash grabs a battle axe and he cuts down on one of them, asking if they would like to pick on someone who's remotely their size. Back in the corridor, Tarna and the rest of them battle against Mintrel, and she shouts for them to stop the trials. After grabbing Pick's daughter Hilla, Mintrel tells them that the trials will finish when a judgment has been made. Over in the arena, Venom begins to pick himself back up, and Flash tells him, "You do know that the Clintar didn't attack until you attacked them, right? They're supposed to be agents of the cosmos, keepers of peace, so maybe you should give that peace a chance." The other Clintars stand around and they all get ready to charge in, attacking again, and Flash says that he probably should have seen that one coming too. As all of the Clintar attack, they each begin to wrap themselves around Flash and Venom, showing them Venom's past. A voice tells them that the cleanse shall be purifying Venom. However, they have proven themselves worthy. The cleanse showed that something was missing, and Flash says that he knows exactly what that missing thing is. Andy and the symbiote known as Mania, and the Hellmark. As the visions begin to fade, a Clintar says that Andrea Benton must be cleansed. Only then will Venom be free of the pain that haunts him. Though the Hellmark cannot be cleansed on its own, there is a way to temper its effects. An image of a planet is displayed, and the Clintar go on to state that there's a temple on the planet Web. If they drink from the fountain of purity, it will keep Andrea's demons at bay and allow her to be cleansed. Now go in peace. A short while later, everyone begins to head back to the ship to leave for Wemb. But Minchell stops Tarna. He tells her that it was a noble thing to stand up for her friends, but when they return, the Clintar will see if she is still worthy of fighting for the cosmos. Once aboard, Flash says that he should go with them, but Pick says that they will go to Wemb and he shall return to Earth. And as they leave back down on Earth, Andy continues to struggle with the rage that is within Mania. Flash quickly reaches Philadelphia and he begins his search following up on some of Andy's most recent killings. He follows the trail to the outside woods and suddenly Venom begins to cover him. He asks what's wrong and Venom says, "We're being watched." Suddenly several poles shoot down into the ground around Flash and they emit sonic disruptors. Venom screams, "Turn it off!" And inside, Flash says, judging by the color scheme of these, he knows who just did it. Peter Parker, also known as Spider-Man, flies down on his ship stating, "We are way overdue for a catch-up." Over on Wemb, Tarna and the others make their way into the temple caverns when Tarna mentions that she doesn't understand why this place is empty. Ika turns back stating that they're not the only ones seeking this temple, and then a voice tells them, "No." Everyone turns back and they see a group of people standing there stating, "You are most certainly not." Pick asks, "Who are they, thieves?" And everyone throws their arms up, and Tarna says, "No, they are much worse. They are the Space Knights." Back on Earth, Peter tells Flash that he knows what he's thinking. Who catches up by caging an old friend? Well, last time they tangled, they were a bit of a handful. Flash slams his arm into the ground, and the tendrils from Venom crawl through the dirt, and they throw the disruptors into the air. He shouts out, "I don't want to fight!" And Peter asks him, "Are you sure? Because you just destroyed a couple $1 million in our research and development breaking those." Flash tries to get away, but Peter follows up behind him, webbing him down and pulling him back. After punching Venom in the face, he jumps on trying to stop him, but Flash says, "I don't want any of this!" Flash manages to jump away, but Peter says, "I've got a friend in there." Venom punches into the airship, pinning Peter against a tree, shouting, "Flash Thompson is my friend too!" Venom then grabs Peter and he rips him away and throws him off to the side. Peter takes out a small tuning fork and he yells for him to stop. The fork amplifies the sound, and the force begins to rip Venom away from Flash. Flash looks up and Peter tells him, "Don't worry, you're gonna be safe now." But Flash gets up telling him, "You don't understand. Venom is my friend, he's changed." After grabbing the containment device, Peter tells him, "I'll be more than happy to listen once we get Venom back to the lab. But judging that Venom isn't in there, he's right behind me, isn't he?" Venom grows and he screams, "No, Cage!" And he punches into Peter. Peter shouts out, "Fine, we'll do it the old-fashioned way," and he jumps back in, tackling into Venom again. He punches and kicks at him, and in the moment of confusion, he wraps Venom up in his webbing. Venom flexes, ripping the webbing away, and he grabs Peter by the neck with his tongue. He throws Peter's body into the trees and into a car in the street, shouting, "No, Cage!" As Peter's body slams into the car, he says he gets it. No cage, no host. But remember, I used to be a host too, right? Maybe we can talk about it over some lunch. He tries to jump back into the fight, but as Venom swings around, knocking him back down, he asks if he was actually a host. While Peter picks himself back up, he says him not remembering hurts his feelings. And then Venom walks over and begins to wrap himself around Peter, and he tells him, "Welcome back!" Darkness begins to surround Peter, and he shouts that he's willing to accept his surrender now. And as he looks around, he says he likes what he's done with the place. Very minimal, yet homicidal. Images begin to flash, and Peter finds himself in a cave, and Venom's voice rings out as he shows Peter the place that he was born. The place where they were bred to become agents of the cosmos. However, for him, his first host was not worthy, and created a thirst inside of him, making him addicted to rage. But Flash brought him where he can be cleansed. However, in the process, he lost all of his memories. He tells Peter that he is not the Venom that he once knew. He will not enter his mind and feed on his rage. Peter asks him, "What rage? I don't have any." And Venom tells him, "Respectfully, you are teeming with it. For me, which is deserved, I'm sure." Venom then points to a light, and Peter asks if that's the way out. And Venom tells him, "In a matter of speaking, not all of me is cleansed, which is why me and Flash are here in Philadelphia." Moments later, Peter is released from Venom, and Flash tells him that he can explain. But Peter tells him not to worry about it, his partner here has him covered. Venom goes on to tell Peter, "I do not know what I did to you in the past, but I can only hope to earn your forgiveness in time through my actions." Peter tells everyone that this was not what he was expecting, but hopefully they can forgive him as well for jumping to his conclusions. As Flash and Peter shake hands, there's an explosion and Venom shouts, "Look out!" Through the smoke, a group of bounty hunters step up, pointing at Venom, calling out the monster is like her. Seize it! Peter leans over to Venom and whispers that he's pretty sure she's talking to him. And just as the bounty hunters begin to attack, Venom and Peter begin to web them up, and Venom shouts at the leader asking, "Where's Mania?" The woman says that she mostly sticks to the sewers. They were just hoping that if they attacked, that maybe she would show up. As the woman goes on, Peter webs up her mouth, telling her that he stopped listening listening after she said sewers. After grabbing a costume replacement back in his ship, Peter grabs the canister that he was going to use for Venom, and he says that they should probably go ahead and try to find their friend. Over on Wemb, Pick asks what's the difference between the supposed to be agent of Cosmos and the Space Knights. One of the Space Knights says they don't have to answer to anyone, and the female commander adds that they don't banish anyone for being a little off. They accept their members just as they are. She then fills the canister with an elixir, and as she does, Ika turns around asking, what is that foul beast there? Another member says that is Wink, and he is the reason they came here in the first place. Wink tells them, Wink's sorry. Wink wanted to warn Maya of the outside trolls are coming. Maya asks how many are coming, and Wink says, Wink fairly certain that all of them are outside. Back in the sewers of Philadelphia, Flash and Peter begin their search for Mania, and they stumble across an area that looks like someone has been staying there. Flash quietly says that he's sorry that she had to live in the sewer, and then a voice asks, are you sure? Then show me how sorry you really are. Andy jumps in, clawing at Flash, knocking him into a wall, and then continues to slash away. But as she swings, Flash doesn't fight back, and she asks him, why won't he fight her? Flash falls into the water, telling her that he won't because he deserves this. He's sorry for leaving her. He's also sorry for this. Peter crawls down from the ceiling, and using the tuning fork, he shouts, time out! Blasting both symbiotes off of their hosts. Flash gets up and he runs over to Andy, telling her not to worry, he's got her. And Peter says that he's got them. Well, both of them. Venom and Mania, that is, so they should probably hurry over to the lab. A short while later, over at Parker Industries' Philadelphia branch, Flash and Peter let Andy rest while they review Venom and Mania. Peter looks at the canister, stating that they look pretty good for being a pile of alien goo. Flash says that the cleanse seems to have worked before, but the hell mark that was placed on Venom remains an issue, which hopefully his friends should be able to help them clear. Spider-Man heads out, stating that he has to hurry back to New York to handle some things, but he tells Flash that if he needs Spider-Man for anything, let Peter Parker know. Flash checks on Andy and then asks Venom how's everything going inside. Venom says that he has cleansed the symbiote, but the hell mark, well, Mania is afraid. Flash tells him that there shouldn't be anything for Mania to be afraid of. They are here to help. But Venom stops him, telling him that Mania is not afraid of them. It's afraid of Andy. The light begins to fill the room, and Andy begins to get up from her bed, bearing the hell mark on herself. Demons begin to crawl out from a fire that surrounds Andy, and she begins to drag Venom and Flash down. Flash begins to fight off the demons, telling Andy that she needs to stop this, but Andy says that the hell mark made its choice. It burned through the symbiote to where it belongs, on her. She then calls out to the demons to go ahead and bring Mania back to her, and while they're at it, bring Venom as well. Flash continues fighting back the demons trying to escape, but he doesn't get very far as more demons begin to chase after them. Flash stops to get ready to fight, and Andy appears before him, swinging down with a fiery sword, splitting Venom in half and exposing Flash. She holds the sword up, telling him, don't worry, she'll keep Venom nice and warm for him. But before she can swing, a blast fires in their direction, forcing Andy to take cover. Tarna walks up holding a gun, telling him that she's sorry that they're so late. 803 assists putting Venom back onto Flash, and Flash tells everyone, welcome to my planet. Ika says that this place has a foul odor and feels unstable. She likes it. Flash turns back and looks at the Space Knights and asks who exactly are they. Mahia introduces herself along with a blob named Punch and a spider named JK. Mahia then says they brought the elixir with them and it seemed like it worked on Wink, so hopefully it'll help his friend. Though keep in mind, this isn't a cure. Flash sighs, telling them there's always a catch. Does anyone else feel that rumbling? And the rumbling becomes more and more unstable as a giant demon bursts out of the ground, knocking everyone away. Flash quickly puts up a shield and tells Pick that he's got an idea, and he throws Ika at the demon crystal thingy. Hilla cheers, shouting, make her fly! And Pick gets ready and tells Ika good luck. As Hilla is thrown, Ika calls back that she doesn't need luck. She has a blade of fire and rage, and she slams the sword down into the demon's chest. The demon falls back, and as it withers away, more smaller demons begin to crawl out of the cracks of the demon. Flash jumps in, grabbing Ika, stating, like I said, there's always a catch to these things. As everyone begins to get backed into a corner, Flash calls out for everyone to stay close, and 803 tells him, respectfully, sir, I think the end is finally here. I am grateful that we shall experience it together. Andy and the demons begin to walk towards the group when suddenly a giant hand slams down, grabbing a handful of the demons. Wink pulls back, biting into them, stating, Wink hungry. While Andy gets ready to summon more demons, Flash jumps through the crowd, tackling Andy down, and he sticks the elixir needle into her neck. Slowly, Andy begins to fall to the ground and whispers that she doesn't want to be angry anymore. She then picks herself back up, looking around, asking what has she done. Flash tells her that it's not her fault, it was his for leaving her. As Mania bonds back onto Andy, she says no, it was the Hellmark's fault. And Flash adds that that too is kind of on him. He goes on telling her that the injection is only temporary, but as he hugs her, he says that they'll figure it out together. Everyone begins to gather back up in the forest, and Tarna tells Flash that she isn't going to be going back to the agents of the Cosmos. Their little adventure made her realize that she would much rather not answer to anyone but herself. The two shake hands, and Flash tells her thank thank you for everything that she has done for them. Mahia says the entire crew is coming with them, and he's welcome to come as well. But Flash looks back at Andy playing with Hilla, and he tells her that maybe down the road he will. But there's some things that he needs to take care of back here on Earth. He then turns to Ika, and before he can even say anything, she kisses him and tells him that he will always have a place in her husband's stable if he ever chooses to come back. And Flash tells her, duly noted, Pick pats Flash on the back, saying that she isn't going to kiss him, but the Rolos are forever in his debt. And as everyone boards Mahia's ship, 803 asks, what's next? And Flash tells him, that's up to you. 803 tries to state that he will stay, but Flash tells him that he's going to say this one last time. 803, you're free. 803 hugs Flash, telling him, I will miss you. And Flash says, prove it by outliving all of us. A little while later, Flash and Andy watch as Mahia's ship takes off. Andy says that the descent thing is still out there, and she's still cursed. The end. Flash smiles and states that this is not the end. Long live Venom and Mania. So let's go out and do some good. Mania covers Andy and she tells him, you're such a dork. And if you could do me a favor, shift back to the old look for just one day. That looked so much better. The two begin to web away and Flash shifts back to his original Agent Venom form. And Flash tells her, for her, anything. And there you have it, the conclusion to a full story, meaning it's a lot of videos put together, meaning my voice changed midway through and I probably did different character voices and stuff, but I hope you enjoyed this. Now you're probably wondering why the origin of Agent Venom isn't in there and why we never got to his death, because he did in fact die in Going Down Swinging, and I'm going to link that down below. The reason is really simple. Venom as Agent Venom is a story after his origin, but before his death. It's a complete and full story all by itself, talking about his journey of becoming a superhero. And that's what I really did enjoy about the character. So I hope you did as well. And don't forget, you can subscribe to our channel to keep up with our full story Mondays, or massive Mondays, or whatever you really want to call them. And I'll see you next time right here at Comic Story.
Okay. That is the end of the Venomverse story, but that is not the end of this video. So let's see what comes up next on the playlist, but otherwise I will check out and see what is there. But before I do, let's tell you what I've done, or what you can see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying
Welcome to the full story series, where we take some of our older videos and become.
Okay, we're on Ultimate Spider-Man, so we'll change that in a minute, see if we can find some Venom. But yeah, what I'm trying to do is put the shading in as similar or as close as you can see on the paper version. Again, I do prefer the paper version to this. The shading on this is looking horrendous, but I'm slowly getting there. It's still early days for me with stuff like this. I really don't know how it really works, but I do try my best. I'm still learning, guys. If it wasn't an eye, if it wasn't a face, I'd probably do alright, but as you all know, it is a face, so I have to sort of keep touching it up, putting little bits in, stuff like that. But because of what I did, made an absolute stupid mistake. I can't put the shading in underneath the lines, I have to put them on top. Well, I can put the shading underneath, but it doesn't show up as well as I want it to, as you see here. It just makes it lighter, which we don't want. What if I go on top of that layer? It makes it nice and dark, which is what I want. But unfortunately, I made an absolute complete stupid rookie move, and what I did. Let's quickly. I can turn all these off quickly. Turn all of these off. I'll zoom out. Turn all of these off a second. Let's turn Venom off. I forgot to put this layer, Eddie layer, because I outlined it already as a overlayer. The lines and the detailed lines. I forgot because I'm an idiot to put them in, or to not save them, to save them as a critter file instead of as a ordinary file. As you can see, the Venom's white, and that on the Eddie side as well, it also would have been white and left like that. That meant I couldn't use the outlining. I had to do it. I had to copy and paste it. I did all this in the last video, guys, and I give you an explanation. So if you want to check that out, feel free. But yeah, you can see the shading there, but if I was to turn the Eddie level back on, It's not as dark, which is really annoying, but I'm getting there with different things and different techniques that I might be able to use, such as this here, and just little bits like that, and just sort of getting there with, you know, changing the different pitch of the colour of it, trying to make it not so dark, but I got a feeling it's just going to have to be for this one. But it's not too bad, because Venom obviously is quite a dark character. I just don't want to add loads of darkness and then all of a sudden it just looks horrendous. What I can do is add all these lines back in again, the detail lines. And that's probably what I'll be doing throughout this video, is just tweaking bits here, changing bits, changing bits, changing bits, giving it shading, giving it shading, giving it shading. Because it just really would make me feel crap if I didn't get a decent colour on it. It's just looking horrible. It really is looking absolutely horrible. I do not like this. I really wish I didn't make that mistake, because it wouldn't have worked out like it is. It's just the more I put on there, the more it looks crap. I'm trying, like I said, I'm trying to give it shading and I'm trying to give it tonal colours, but I don't know if I should really go dark with this. I'm trying to, I don't want I want like a skin colour dark, or a grey maybe. Let's go for a grey. So that gives it a bit more of a darker colour. If I go on that layer there, go over here, because that's what you see on the other version. I don't like this hair either. Looks a bit bold, bold even. I mean, that's not looking too bad. But again, it's looking really dark. But then again, so is the paper version. I'm looking at the paper version as I do this to see if I can get anything from it. To see if I can sort of get a decent sort of look to it. But I mean, the Venom's looking sweet as. I've got to do a bit more to the teeth and the gums here, and then maybe the tongue. A bit of a shading on that tongue actually, it's not working, so we'll leave it. Let's turn this down a smidgen. I don't want it to be as dark as that, but I do want it dark. What I think I'll do, I'll go over the lines again for the detail and just really work on the shading here. All the different colours I use just don't seem to work, so I'm just going to do what I did on the paper. Use grey for like pencil lead. I can change it to look a little bit more sort of venomy, maybe. I'm not sure. I really don't know. I really have done made a complete idiot of myself by doing this wrong. The more I touch it up, the more it looks crap. So it's just a matter of getting things where I want it. She looks okay. It's just not as dark, and not the right colour that I want. Really, to be completely honest with you. And I really don't know where to put some more shading in. Let's blend that in a little bit. Is that a blender? Oh, that's a razor. Turn that blender down a bit. Blend all this in together. Turn that up a little bit more actually. Blend all this in. Blending, 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 blend. Blendy, blendy, blend. Oh, great. Turn that down. Blending, 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 and there we go. Yeah, I mean that's looking a bit better. I'm glad I got the blender tool. But it's just a matter of tweak, tweak, tweak. Don't tweak too much. Tweak. He still hasn't got a nose. Turn this right down now. Really just gently go in with things now. Still want to give him his nose shape. But if we can get rid of the nose without getting rid of the nose, that'll be cool. Turn that up a little bit. If I can just give it a shaded, if you see what I mean. He just looks dirty, and I don't want him to look dirty. I want him to look shaded. It's just looking horrendous. It's looking horrible. Got to do a little bit more to the ear. Oh my god, what have I done now? As all most artists will know, that shading is just a pain in the ass. It is an absolute pain in the ass, especially doing it digital. I mean, on pencil, it's just a matter of gently rubbing on your pencil and then add a little bit more, and add a little bit more, and add a little bit more, which is what I'm trying to do here. But some techniques that I know on paper don't correlate in the digital world. So, ooh, actually, hello. Should we put a bit out there? Give him. There we go. Give him 9. So actually, I think I'll turn that down a second. Turn that down a little bit. Maybe if I go over it a couple times like that. Give it wrinkle lines. Not blend these ones in. Gives it more of an eye colour maybe? Who knows? I'm just going to keep tweaking, keep changing. I'll get to a certain point where I'll just get fed up with it, and I'll just stop, I think. But for now, I'm just going to keep adding and adding and adding. We've still got the nose there. Obviously, you can't have shading underneath. Some things get covered over, so that's kind of helpful for this bit. But Venom is probably going to be another video. Dodger. Yeah, here we go. Get rid of all this outer lines. I'm trying to find where the light's coming from. Once I've figured out where it's coming from, I should hopefully be able to sort of gently, I mean very gently, put it where it should be. I'm just pulling all of the shading now into a spot where I think, yeah, that'll do. Oops, that's not too much. Focusing on the eye at the minute, but Down here needs doing a little bit as well. Trying to pull it all down this way a bit. Take some of that nice dark rich colours down and put them into here. It's looking a bit grey down here. So let's pick that one and we'll go in with it on this level. Turn that down again, make that way smaller. To be able to, I'm going to make sure that is on that. Maybe if I go on top of that. Yeah, there we go. Give it a bit of darker tone. I can fix those lips. That is really dark. Let's get rid of that. Turn that down with the opacity. Put a little bit here, a little bit there, like I did for the eye. Put little bits. Trying to make it shaded. There's going to be no light here, so I keep making the light come from over here, and there is no light because obviously. Oh god, that's looking dirty, isn't it? He's lost his nose. I'm just going to stare at that a minute. See if I can get that to look any better, but I got a feeling not. Maybe I'll start putting those lines back on. What I could do is mask it again, but then I've got to use another white layer on top of an ordinary white layer, so I can't really do that. Like I said, if it was pencil, I could shade it, rub it gently, or rub it a bit harder, and extra layers, each layer. As you can see here, I'm trying to do this, but I can't quite get the right sort of thing. Maybe if I go a bit darker again. I keep getting brown, and I don't want friggin' brown. That's brown, you know what I mean? That's like deep brown. Grey's a bit. If I go there, leave it on that layer. Go in here, like through. Lick through. Like this. This might work. Maybe if I don't blend this layer now, I'll just go in a bit bigger, bring it out. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? It's going to look even worse. That's what's going to happen. Oh, I'm going to put that nose back in because it's doing my head in. Right. It doesn't matter if it's in a dark layer, because it's already going to be really dark, as you've already seen. And I'm going to put those lines for the eyes as well. You can tell the difference between. Why is that so light? As you can see here, This is the pencil. This is the pencil stage. I did all the shading before I did the colouring, so that's why the colouring looks really good. Maybe I should have done the shading first, but this might be another one I'll have to take off stream and just really take hours and hours working on. Digital work does take a long time because it just doesn't react the same way as a pencil does, or a pen, or colouring pen, or anything like that. Other than inking with a pen, which you saw me pick up just a minute ago, these two here, it doesn't really do any justice. Turn that off. Just really trying to keep to what I've already done. Maybe if I add these in again, it'll look a bit better, but I mean, it does on the paper version. That's not to say this will do it as well. I'm going to do a bit something to the eyelid. I don't know. The eyelid looking a bit. I'm going to get black. And I'm going to go back in with these eyes here. Why is that happening? Got it black. I've got it on this there. Oh, it's because that there is turned down. Hang on. There we go. Oh. So I'll go back to this layer and I'll see. I'll show you what I did. I'll turn that because I've turned it down, right down. Well, to 39. I turn it right back up. You'll see how white it is and how dirty that looks now. It looks horrible. Let's put that back down. Yeah. Outline his eye a bit. He hasn't got eyelashes as well, which we all know I hate doing. I'm going to give it an outline of the eye. Just neat. That eye is just looking a bit. It's looking a bit too in there. It's looking a bit too sunk in, if you like. Yeah, so I have to zoom out. And now you can see the eye coming out a little bit. You want it to pop. I really want these things to pop because I'm really disappointed in how this is turning out. I just can't use a mouse the way I can use a I'll just shade that a minute. I just can't use a mouse the same way I can a pencil. That's one of the reasons I keep using each week digital, because I just want to get better at this. I really do want to get better at this. That's looking crap. Do you know what? Fudge it. I'm going to use this. Screw this shading for a minute. Let's put some details back in because it's just looking not good. Even if this doesn't look good, it's not permanent. I can get rid of it. Raise it back on it. This is definitely going to be one of those I'm going to be forever tweaking, isn't it? Just want to give... Just put lines anywhere. Yeah. So you tone that off a bit. See if that does anything. another lick. Get that a bit more colour up here as well. Just looking a bit too dark. There we go. We still need to do his hair, which I'll do in a moment. Leave that here, there. Everything just looks horrible. I hate when I don't do things right. Right, I'm coming off Jaden. I'm going to find someone else to listen to. And you're going to tell me how shit this looks. Please do. I'm just looking through the Venom stuff here, because there are quite a few different videos of Venom. Right, I'm going to start here, where we left off from the verse. And hopefully it'll play on from there.
There's a new Venom. Now, a lot of you guys know that I'm rather upset that Flash Thompson has lost the Venom symbiote, but we're getting to a storyline in which he's going to be receiving it again, or a version of it. So we got to start with the beginning of that storyline with one of the more recent runs of Venom that is basically a part of Marvel Legacy. It started before Marvel Legacy, then it became a part of Marvel Legacy, but here is what happened to the Venom symbiote after Flash Thompson lost it. This is the new Venom host. Over the past few years, the Venom symbiote has had many hosts, some good, some bad. But the one thing that Venom knew very well was that the good ones are hard to come by. And soon, Venom will learn that his newest host, Lee Price, is far from a good guy. As the night progresses, Lee gets a text from his friend Tony to come meet him at the diner tonight. He might have some work for him. Lee walks into the diner on time to see Tony sitting in a booth with another man named Mac Gargan. Mac is looking for a little side business that could use a hand. Mac looks at Lee and tells him that Tony told him that he was an Army Ranger. Did he ever kill anyone over there? Lee doesn't respond at first and then tells him, yeah, you need to kill somebody for this job? Mac tells him, whoa, no way! My employer runs a strictly non-lethal organization. And Lee tells him, right. Mac turns to Tony telling him that this friend of his might be crazy. And there's a big problem with crazy. Tony tells him, no, you've got it all wrong. Lee's just nervous. And as Mac points at Lee's face, he says that isn't the look of a guy who's nervous. He's one of those guys that went over to the other side of the world and turned into a murder machine. Lee pulls off his left glove, showing that 2 of his fingers are missing. And he says that he was wounded in action and discharged from the Rangers. Having a hand like this won't get him the kind of security work that he'd like. But right now he needs work. Mac gets up from the table and then begins to walk out, telling the 2 of them that they don't need people to kill people. Just people who look like they're going to kill people. We'll call them tonight. Meanwhile, in the alleyway, Venom tries to find a host so that he won't wither away while an old drifter passes by. Venom jumps out of the trash can onto the man and he begins to bond with him. But the old man is too weak, and Venom ends up vomiting as he absorbs the man. Flash Thompson is missing. Eddie Brock is nowhere to be found. What happened to the Venom symbiote? Why is he alone? He wipes the bile from his mouth, thinking that there's just too much pain in this New York. So many lost people, and now I'm becoming one of them. Later that night, Lee and Tony head out to where Mac told them the meeting was, and they find out that the cargo that they've been selling is some kind of a toxic gas. Tony jokes, telling him that before he would have just met a guy at the coffee shop to get a CD. Last year he moved a nuclear warhead. Like he actually touched a warhead. But before Tony could go on about how his life has changed, the buyers arrive, and the thug gets out stating that Uncle Tombstone would like to thank them for bringing his stuff. You can head home now. Tony says, wait, what about the payment? The thug tells him, your payment is living. Maybe you shouldn't be working for a crime boss who looks like a supermodel in spandex. They're referencing Black Cat. As Tony grabs his gun, the other thugs grab theirs and Lee sighs, thinking that he didn't bring his gun. One of the thugs points their gun at Lee, and Lee tells them that if they're going to do it, just go ahead and get on with it. But just before the thug can pull the trigger, there's a loud crash, and VENOM comes bursting out of the wall, roaring. The thugs begin to open fire on him, and VENOM quickly spreads himself out to shield Lee from being hit. As VENOM begins to bond with Lee, he begins to see Lee's life and his time in the army. VENOM tells him, my last host was a soldier and he saved the world. Together, we can do the same. As VENOM talks, Lee tells him to shut up. You're not the one in control here. I'm the one in control of you. VENOM fully covers Lee, and then VENOM shouts, no! You can't kill these people! We're supposed to save people! VENOM tries to fight for control over Lee, but Lee starts killing everyone in his reach. And once Lee is done, Tony asks if he's still in there. VENOM pulls back and Lee says, what a rush! This thing, it's talking in my head. It's a suit and other people have had it. Tony asks him, what, you're Iron Man now? And Lee tells him, no, this is even better. This thing has fought Spider-Man, but it needs to be kept secret. With one quick thrust, Lee reaches out, crushing Tony's neck, and his body is thrown next to a homeless man. The homeless man begs him not to kill him, but Lee kneels down, and he tells him that he just killed a man that he knew from grade school because he can't keep secrets. After making sure everyone in the building is dead, Lee loads the bodies up and sets the place on fire while taking the product with him. As he gets home, he sits back telling VENOM that it's time for him to figure out how to use this power to his advantage. 2 days go by, and Lee heads out to return the product to Mac and his employer, thinking that it may not have been such a good idea. The doors open, and Lee sees Mac standing there with the employer, Black Cat. Black Cat tells Lee to have a seat. She's been told that he was the only one to make it out alive that night. Lee tells her that that sounds about right, and when the buyers showed up, they had no intention of buying. Him dying was a little out of his pay grade, so he just brought back the merchandise. Black Cat tells him that that is true, but you're also a day late. Care to explain why? Lee begins to think back without saying anything as to what happened on that day, about how him and VENOM had a talk. He knew VENOM was there, and when VENOM finally came out, he shouted, you killed those men! Lee told him, yeah, and you helped. From what I can tell, you've left piles of bodies in your past. VENOM yells, I've known men like you. They're hollow, empty of any sense of honor. You're evil, and there won't be a second time of that happening. Lee gets up from his chair telling him, I'm not so sure you have a say in it. And VENOM screams, just because I won't kill you, it wouldn't be wise to antagonize me. Lee asks him, not wise, huh? And he takes a chair, bashing VENOM in the face with it. VENOM slams Lee into the wall, and just as the tendril reaches out to grab Lee, they stop and act as if they're being pulled away. Lee brushes himself off the wall, and then he punches VENOM, telling him to listen up. We're gonna have a serious conversation about who's in charge here. But in the current time, with him sitting with Black Cat, he tells her that he spent the night thinking. As the conversation between the two of them continue, VENOM pokes out, stating that he's also been inside of Mac Gargan's head. It's hollow rage. There's no way that we're going to work for these people. Lee tells him that he doesn't have a choice in this, and VENOM tells him, maybe not, but there are certain involuntary responses that I can trigger. Suddenly, Lee feels a sharp pain in his stomach, and he grabs a trash can to throw up in it. He wipes his mouth, telling him, I'm sorry. It's just the nerves getting to me, Cat. Cat tells him that she doubts that's the case. Whatever it is, pull it together and get that bucket out of here. Lee begins to walk out, stating the Scorpion there knows how to get in touch with them if they need him. Cat says that is disgusting. Now we need a new suite. But Max says that there's something familiar about this guy. Like, how did he know who he was? Later that night, Lee walks home with VENOM and he tells him, never pull that crap again. You could have endangered all those people there. Our secret must remain a secret. VENOM says that he doesn't understand. You want to work on becoming a crime boss now? And Lee says, no, the boss is public. I would rather stay in the shadows and get what's owed. We have to play this smart, be invisible, no point being mixed up with the super freaks. Lee opens the door to his apartment and he asks, what's this? And a man responds, telling him, this is your death, delivered personally by the Firebug. I didn't forget what you did to Tombstone's men the other night. Lee laughs, telling him, I remember Firebug from when I was a kid. You're what, like 22 or something? Firebug shouts, it's a franchise now! It is time for you to pay for what you've done. As Firebug begins to ignite, VENOM says, I'm not going to help you hurt another person. Lee tells him, I'm confident they're going to rethink that position in a moment. A few minutes later, Firebug walks out of the burning building reporting that it's done. The guy was terrified. And then Firebug hears a scream. And when he turns back, he sees Venom walking towards him. Lee grabs Firebug, slamming him into the ground, shouting, "You tried to burn us! What's worse, you've seen who we are. Those that do must die." And just as Lee is about to punch down on Firebug, a voice shouts for him to halt. They are Federal Agent Wamba, and you're under arrest. Agent Coil then runs up from behind, asking if it's really Venom. Wasn't he one of the good guys last time we checked? Lee looks back, telling him, "You want to take a poke next? That's fine. Firebug here won't last long." Firebug begins to yell, "Screw off!" and he begins to set Venom on fire, but Lee just grabs him and throws him. Venom screams, "I can't do this anymore! I need someone else, anyone else!" Wait, that's it. He begins to pull himself off of Lee and he grabs onto Wamba so that they can bond. Coil fires his gun at Venom during the jump and one of those bullets hits Lee right in the chest. Venom wraps himself around Wamba, telling him, "I can help! You're meant to be a hero and save lives!" As Wamba struggles to get the Venom symbiote off of him, Venom looks back thinking that if he's supposed to be saving lives, he should start with Lee's. The next morning, Lee begins to blink and he finds himself in Tony's apartment asking why is he here. Venom tells him, "I saw it in your memories. It's the only place that seems safe." Lee then notices the hole in his chest and he asks, "You're the one who saved me, huh? You want to hate me, but you saved me." Venom says, "I do hate you, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to let you die when I have the power to save you. My job is to protect life." Lee smiles, telling him, "You didn't seem like you wanted to keep life alive when Firebug tried to incinerate us." Before Venom could try to explain, Lee says, "I get it. You're like a dog, smart and calm, but when you're spooked, you act on instinct. You think that you want to be a hero, but what you really want more than anything is someone to be in charge." Seconds later, the apartment door is kicked in and Wamba shouts that they're going to try this again. He knows who he is, and this time it's going to be different. Lee tells Wamba that he could kill him right now. That rifle that he's holding doesn't mean a thing. And Venom whispers, "I won't let you fight. I'm still weak." And Lee says Wamba doesn't know that. Wamba says, "Sure, you could kill me, but out on the rooftop in the next building is my partner, sitting with an incinerary payload that could burn everything. So, this is what we do know. You have a symbiote and you've taken steps to prevent anybody from knowing that. Now, we're not here to arrest you. One or two things are going to happen. Coil will pull the trigger and we'll both die, or you can work for us." Lee asks, "So what, I'm a rat now?" And Venom whispers, "This could be a good thing. We can work on defeating criminals." Lee tells him to shut up. You think that they're any different because they have a badge? Elsewhere, Mac Gargan sits eating when Adam shows him a picture of Lee's apartment asking if that's him. Mac asks what? "I assumed that you'd go behind Black Cat's back. She wanted to hire the kid." And Adam tells him, "You're right. Fire isn't his style. If we're gonna go for him, we should go directly. And that's why Cat put me in charge. To do things that need doing." Mac looks back at his scorpion suit and he says, "Damn right we do." The next day, Lee heads to the bus stop where Wamba told him to be, and Venom says, "I don't like being a prisoner. That's what I feel like right now." And as Coil begins to walk up, Lee tells him, "Shut up, one of them is coming." Coil takes a seat, stating that it's his turn to risk his life talking to him, so here it goes. Coil then holds out a tablet with a picture of Flash Thompson, stating, "We know what's inside of the Venom symbiote. That thing has spent a lot of time in government captivity. They've studied it. They know its weaknesses. They also know that the suit is a bioorganic memory, and they would like Venom to tell them who Spider-Man is." Lee asks Venom if he knows, and Venom tells him, "I don't think so." Coil goes on stating that Spider-Man had tangled up with many of New York's crime lords, and has yet to bring them any information on them, so they want to change that. So with Venom not giving up anything on Peter, Lee heads over to his next appointment, which is Black Cat. Black Cat tells him that she does a job for him, and that is to speak to the reporter Patrick Healy of the Daily Bugle. He's been asking the wrong kind of questions about her organization, so his job's going to be to convince him to find a different story. Venom whispers, "This is good. We won't have to kill anyone. We can be scary. We can do the scary face." Adams mentions that maybe they shouldn't send Lee alone. What about sending Augustine along for the job? Cat thinks about it and tells him no. We'll send Gargan. Venom shouts, "We don't like Mac! What is happening?" And Lee says, "It's obvious we're being outplayed here." Lee takes the information and begins to walk over to Patrick's apartment building when he sees Mac already waiting for him. He tells him that for the record, he looks ridiculous in that huge suit in this dinky hallway. "Did you actually climb the stairs in that thing?" Mac shouts, "It doesn't matter how I got in here." Before Lee can tell him to wait, Mac charges in through Patrick's door. As Patrick begins to run away, Mac corners him and asks, "How would you like to get a face-to-face interview with some of the people you've been writing about?" Venom screams, "Mac is going to kill him! We have to save him!" But Lee tells him Cat said not to kill him. He doubts that Mac would disobey her order. Lee then speaks up to Mac, telling him, "I don't want to bother you, but the boss said no more bodies. So, if you're trying to make me look bad..." Mac tells him, "Oh no, the plan wasn't to make you look bad. The plan was to kill both of you and pin it on you." Before Lee has a chance to react, Mac grabs him and throws him into the wall. Mac's giant claws then clamp down on Lee's neck, and Venom shouts for him to do something. As Mac begins to beat Lee, Lee tells him to calm down. Let Mac think that he's killed us. And after Lee has stopped moving, Mac tosses his body and tells Patrick not to worry. I'm gonna make this one quick. But before Mac could swing, Venom shouts, "No!" Mac then looks back to see Venom taking over, and him shouting, "There will be no more killing." Venom leaps in and Mac releases a sonic blast, peeling Venom off of Lee, telling him, "I'm not sure where that suit came from, but I did wear it." Next door, one of the neighbors bangs on the door, telling them to keep it down in there. Suddenly, Mac is knocked out of the apartment with a fridge, and Venom jumps out after him. The girl with the man shouts it's time for them to go, and the man pulls out his phone, and he begins recording, saying, "Wait, everyone in the world needs to see this." As the fighting continues, Lee knocks Mac out of the apartment building, shouting, "I'm gonna rip you out of that suit and eat you!" And just as Lee gets ready to take a bite, he's shot in the mouth with webbing, and he quietly says, "No." Spider-Man swings down yelling, "Flash, you got some serious explaining to do!" Lee picks up Mac's body and throws it into the air, and Spider-Man quickly webs him back to the ground, asking, "What do you think you're doing?" After Lee tosses a car at them, Mac gets back up shouting, "I want that suit!" Fire begins to burn from Mac's tail, and as Lee aims the blast in another direction, Spider-Man jumps in to save two civilians standing by. As Spider-Man turns back, he looks around and asks, where did Venom go? Back inside of Patrick's apartment, he pulls himself out of the debris and he calls into the bugle to get his story rolling when a hand reaches out grabbing the phone. Lee smiles, telling him, "You're gonna want to hang up that phone now." A few moments later, on top of a nearby building, Lee webs up Patrick, telling him, "I know you've been working on a piece regarding Black Cat's organization." As Lee scratches down Patrick's face, he tells him, "I'm gonna need all the information you have, starting with Adam's address." A little while later, at Adam's apartment, he returns home to feed his fish when he notices the fish are not coming out to eat. Through the tank behind him, Lee jumps out, slamming Adams into the ground, telling him, "You've made a real mess of things, having Scorpion try to come and kill me." Lee then picks Adams up and he throws him into the couch, telling him, "I've already lied to Black Cat once, and now she knows that I am the symbiote. But the problem that we're going to run into is that we went behind her back to try and get rid of you. So, here's where I'm going to offer some protection." A short while later, as Venom digs through Lee's memories, Lee shouts at him to stay out of there before he locks him up. Adam screams, "Who are you talking to?" And as Lee continues to web across the city, he tells him, "Shut up! We're almost where we need to be." Once the two land on the rooftop, Agent Coyle walks out, and Lee tells him that he got the jackpot for him. "You want the mainline look into the superhuman criminal underworld? This guy's your ticket. Now we're never gonna see each other again." Coyle shakes Adam's hand, telling him, "Yeah, you're right about that." And Lee says, "Wait," and Adams shouts, "This guy is my pet federal agent. How did you think that we knew all about you and why Mac had anti-symbiote tech?" Suddenly, a shot can be heard, and Venom quickly covers Lee as the incendiary round hits the rooftop. Venom begins to scream, "We are burning!" And Lee tells him, "Don't panic. If you panic, we die." Lee looks back up and webs onto a water tower, pulling it down to put the fires out. As the water washes Adams and Coyle away, Lee jumps up to the helicopter that fired the round and begins to tear it apart. Back over at the FBI's office, Agent Dawson shouts, asking, "Where the hell is the symbiote task force? Don't we have one for situations like this?" And another agent tells him that the group was kind of dismantled after the Carnage situation. But there's one guy left in it. A voice then calls out that they're right here. And Eddie Brock says, "There's a rumor about a symbiote. Care to get me up to speed?" And there you have it. Lee Price is now involved, but Eddie Brock is coming back. Let me know in the comments down below if you want us to tell the Marvel Legacy story of Eddie Brock as Venom and the return of Flash Thompson eventually. If you've been following the entire thing in the news, you kind of know what already is happening to Flash Thompson, which is why me, a giant boycotter of the Eddie Brock return, is willing to even do these stories, because you know what? I love Flash Thompson, and if we're going to get a different version of him, I'm okay with that. Check out our Venom playlist right here to see my favorite version of the Flash Thompson character, the Venom symbiote Agent Venom character, and check right over here for something recommended by YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time right here. Lee Price took over the Venom symbiote after Flash Thompson, but it's not a good situation. Now we're going to see if Eddie Brock can take it back. This is a short story because it was supposed to go in the last Lee Price storyline, and I kind of messed up. So here is the resolution to Eddie Brock and Lee Price. In our last video, we watched as the symbiote Venom wandered the streets in search of a new host after being separated from Flash Thompson. At that time, former Army Ranger Lee Price was involved in an arms deal gone wrong, and Venom sprung into action to save him. But with Lee's past, he was able to mentally dominate Venom, bending him to his murderous will. However, there is someone else looking to take that symbiote back. Eddie Brock. As Lee's rampage on New York continues, the FBI moves in with the only remaining man on the symbiote task force, Eddie Brock. As agents fly over New York, one informs Eddie of the current situation. 10 minutes ago, an incident occurred where a helicopter was attacked by a symbiote-enhanced subject. Eddie asks what's the status in the helicopter, and the agent tells him that they don't know. They lost eyes on it after the video feed was cut. But if that thing is still in control of their chopper, there's no telling what damage it could do. Over in the helicopter, Lee grabs the controls, stating that he never thought he'd get to fly one of these again. Venom asks, "Did you used to fly one of these?" And Lee says that he did in the Army Rangers, but not very well. Just then a string of webs hits the back of the helicopter, and a second later, Spider-Man looks in asking, "Is it you, Flash? Any chance I can hitch a ride?" Lee pulls Venom back over him and he tackles into Spider-Man, stating, "We have a new plan. We'll kill Spider-Man!" As Lee jumps out of the helicopter, it begins to explode and Spider-Man shouts, "Okay, definitely not Flash!" Because he as Venom would never risk hurting innocent people. Spider-Man then quickly makes a web landing for the two of them, but Lee slams him down and into the ground. Overhead, Eddie's helicopter flies over and says, "It's true, the symbiote is here! My symbiote!" From the smoldering wreckage, Spider-Man gets out stating, "Score one for the good guys, right?" And then there's a hiss from Lee, and when Spider-Man looks back, Lee punches him and launches him into a hot dog stand. Lee charges in to try and finish off Spider-Man, but up in the air, Eddie gives the order to open fire. With Eddie's helicopter and the ground soldiers moving and shooting at Lee, Venom shouts that they need to get away. "Too many people are trying to kill us!" With Lee busy, Spider-Man looks up to see Eddie walking towards them and he says that he should have known. Eddie tells him, "Back off, I'm with the Bureau now. We have equipment inbound, and whoever is in that suit isn't making it easy for us." Eddie helps Spider-Man up and Spider-Man tells him, "Yeah, it's not Flash in there. We have to contain that thing fast." Eddie tells him that he's got an idea, but he's not gonna like it. Back with Lee, he rips through another group of soldiers when Spider-Man jumps in, kicking his head into the ground, telling him, "Hey, Chuckles." Lee gets back on his feet, telling him, "I won't run away from the web slinger. We will kill him." But then a web shoots out, hitting Lee in the mouth, and Spider-Man tells him, "Would you just listen for a second? I didn't come here to fight, I came here for the suit. I want it back." Lee shouts, "Come here to get it." And then Venom begins to separate from Lee. Lee asks him, "What do you think you're doing?" And Venom says, "Spider-Man is a hero. There's too much needless death here." As Lee tries to keep Venom on him, Venom bites his arm and tells him, "No! You kept me in the dark. There are some things that I've learned. On the outside it's all cold and anger, but down here it's warm with fire. Interfere! You tell them it's because they hurt you, but I know the truth about why you killed your parents. It's because Lee Price is a broken and a weak man." Lee falls to the ground trying to remain in control, and Spider-Man crouches down telling him, "Hopefully, there's something good about that." Behind him, Eddie laughs, telling Spider-Man that he's given them their window. Let's be sure not to miss it. Inside of Lee's mind, his inner child says that he just doesn't want them to hurt him anymore. Please, leave him alone. Venom hesitates for a moment, wanting to help, but then Lee says, "If you leave, I'll kill him." Venom says no. "You'll never kill anyone again!" He rips himself off of Lee and he begins to make his way to Spider-Man, and Spider-Man "That's it! Just like old times!"
Excuse me, sorry guys.
Spider-Man shouts, "Now!" And all of the soldiers hit it with the sonic blasters. Venom begins to yell, "No! Please stop! Don't put me in there!" Spider-Man grabs the canister and slams it down onto Venom, trapping him inside as Venom shouts, "No! I hate you! Why do this? I hate you!" As the officers move in, they arrest Lee, telling him that the best part about being the NYPD, arresting the big, scary, bad villains. Lee watches as Venom is taken away, and the officer asks, "Not so tough now, huh?" Once the FBI has contained Venom and they prepare for transport, Eddie heads inside asking Gibbons what they plan on doing with the symbiote now. Gibbons tells him that they're going to be taking it off-world to some satellite base, probably Alpha Flight or somebody like that. Eddie asks him, "Come on, let me have a look at it before you take it away." Gibbons asks if he wanted to see it so bad, why not be there for the takedown, and Eddie tells them because Spider-Man made him take cover. That and he didn't want to be there because Venom may not have trusted him. Gibbons says then nobody trusts him. He didn't think he cared so much. Just then Eddie grabs Gibbons and chokes him out, telling him, "You're right, and I don't care." A short while later, another agent comes in to check on Gibbons, and when he looks inside, he sees him webbed to a wall and the canister containing venom broken. The agent reports that they have a situation here. Venom is loose, and out on the city, Eddie is swinging through the streets in the Venom symbiote shouting, "We're back!" And there you have it. Eddie Brock now has the Venom symbiote back. For me, I still want Flash to have it, but we're getting to that. Don't worry, and if you want to know what's going to happen to Eddie Brock, subscribe to this channel to get more Venom, more Flash Thompson, and more of one of my favorite heroes over in Marvel, Venom. Alright, don't forget, you can subscribe to this channel like I just said. Follow us on Twitter at ComicStorian. We're also over on Twitch at Eligible Monster. And the names popping up on the screen now or right after I talk, those are our Patreons. That is down below if you want to consider donating to us, because we would appreciate it. Thank you, and have a good night. Do you remember the Spider-Verse storyline? Where a whole bunch of Spider-Men had to come together to fight against a common enemy? Well, they're doing it again, but this time with the Venom symbiotes. And oh, you guys know, I love me some Venom symbiotes. We are going to start by bringing you the single issues known as the Edge of the Venomverse. And the first one is what would happen if X-23 got a Venom symbiote. That's right, the all-new Wolverine is coated in a Venom symbiote, killing and doing all kinds of crazy things. Let's get on with the show. A young girl is standing in an elevator. She's eating a container of french fries, thinking to herself. This is the 5th time that she's trying to escape. The first time they talked her into coming back. The 2nd time she got lost. 3rd time, they just shot her. 4th, that was some kind of gas. And as she shoved the rest of the fries into her mouth, she pops her claws. Schnicked. She leaps out of the elevator with the blades in her hands and feet and sirens blaring, and she murders everyone there and keeps walking. Gas fills the room and she wanders into one of the labs. I can't go back, she tells herself. She's tired of being X-23, the experiment. She's Laura. Inside of the lab, she's looking for an answer, questioning what other monsters they're making here, and that's when she sees the container, the one holding black goo. She cracks it open with her claws. They call out that they found the target. Realizing what she's done, she panics and the goo begins to seep out, and it begins to attach to her arm. The guards rush in and immediately know what's wrong. The subject, X-23, has merged with an alien symbiote. 2 months later, some kids are wandering into an old building. The rumor is that it's haunted, and they've come to check out that theory. But a debate begins. People say that it's a monster. So how can it be haunted? Monsters don't mean ghosts. But while these kids are debating, a girl is having an internal struggle. One that she has every day. Let's get rid of them. They're homeless kids. No one will look for them. We can eat them. And Laura shouts, "No!" All of the kids are scared, and once they realize that it's just a young girl, they begin to ask questions. She tells them to go, and one even agrees, so they all walk out. But once they get outside, they quickly run into problems, because as homeless kids, they owe some of the local thugs some money. Lots of money. The kids scatter and they run through the streets until one of them runs into a dead end. The man approaches them pulling a pipe out of his jacket, and the voice tells Laura, "We don't like seeing people hurt other people." So she slices him in two. She looks at the kid that she saved with the symbiote all over her and her claws out, ready for murder, and tells him, "Hello." He screams out, "What the hell are you?" And the voice in her head tells her, "Violence is all we know. We are Venom." Another thug runs up pulling out a gun as she leaps over at him and goes for his throat. Except the kid runs over grabbing her arm. "Stop! You don't have to kill him!" The symbiote retracts from Laura's face as she tells the kid that he called her a monster. The kid takes Laura with him for saving his life and they run off. But now the world has seen her. The little experiment run awry has finally been found. She spends the next few weeks getting to know the kids, becoming one of them. These are her friends now and she'll protect them. Which of course spreads the rumors that there is a group of homeless kids protected by a monster. Laura sees an ice cream truck and has the kid Bobby punch her in the face, causing a bloody nose. With that blood running down her face, she runs over to the truck driver asking for help. And while he's distracted, the kids steal the ice cream. It would have been a good day, till one of the agents grabbed one of those kids' arms. But these kids, well, they're protected now. The Venom symbiote forms over the girl's mouth and she tackles him laughing. The soldiers all run in with their guns, so Laura senses what's going on and leaps out of the window, slashing. She cuts and guts as many of them as she can, telling the kids to run! They run into the old building where they all met, and the soldiers chase after them. But like I said, these kids are ready to fight. They're protected by the symbiote. Some sprout claws, others sprout fanged mouths, and others have blades. As they cut up eating those soldiers, Laura returns. They blast her with napalm, weakening her. They run into the back room and they lock the metal door, and that's when Venom knows what it has to do. It needs all of its little bits and pieces back, and it sucks it out of the kids forcibly, bringing it all back to Laura herself. At full power, she can save these kids. She can save her friends. She can stop them! Except something is happening. The world is twisting and bending around everyone, and in a flash, Laura is gone, and the kids, they're alone. She looks around and says out loud, "Whoever you are, you're gonna pay for taking us from them." And in front of her is Captain America with a Venom symbiote. He tells her, "Your schoolyard fights are over. We have a war to win." And that was issue 1 of the Edge of Venomverse. Definitely an interesting one, and the next one is going to be Gwenpool. We're going to bring that to you very soon, but let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this issue and what you think about the idea of a Venomverse. A bunch of Venoms fighting against an enemy. It can't get any better than that. If you want to check out our Asian Venom storyline, that playlist is right here. If you want to check out something related to All New Wolverine, that storyline is over here. I'm giving you the playlist stuff right now. And if you enjoyed this and you want to catch the next Edge of Venomverse video, which is Gwenpool, click the subscription link right about here. And I'll see you guys next time at this channel, Comic Storian.
Oh, keep watching here. The Comic Storian.
There's an event known as Venomverse, where all of the Venoms across the entire multiverse come together to battle against a new villain. And it was fun. It was epic. It wasn't really thought-provoking, but you got to see a lot of Venoms kill things. But before they started that series, they had the Edge of the Venomverse series, in which we were introduced to a whole bunch of these new Venoms. Now, that was 5 single issues, and we did do the Wolverine one already, but you know what? I didn't want to let you wait. I didn't want to leave you sitting here. So today, we're going to cover 4 more issues of Edge of Venomverse. We're going to give you the Gwenpool, the Deadpool, the Ghost Rider, and Old Man Logan in this entire video. And if you subscribe, you'll get Venomverse next week sometime.
No, you won't. You'll get it in a minute. It's already out, guys. I've already watched it. It's awesome.
This is Edge of Venomverse 2. What if Gwenpool had a Venom symbiote? Since coming into the comic book world, Gwen has used her vast knowledge of these worlds to make a name for herself, as well as even become the main character of her own series. She's made her money being a mercenary, except the only problem is with her powers. She doesn't have any, as she is shot to death by a group of drug dealers. That would have been the end of the story, if not for Gwen taking something from someone who wanted to get rid of it pretty badly. And that something just so happened to be a Venom symbiote. One of the men reports that they no longer have a problem, but Gwen gets back up, showing her claws, asking them, "Are you sure?" But before she can kill those men, a shuriken flies so they are hitting Gwen in the shoulder, and she turns back to see the ninjas and says, "You know what? We would love to feast on ninjas." Her head begins to grow with more of the symbiote, and she begins to chomp down, eating everything that she can get her hands on. And as she continues killing everyone, one of the ninjas shouts they need to retreat, and they start throwing their smoke bombs. Venom sighs, "They're all gone!" And Gwen asks, "What, are you not full yet?" Then there's another voice that calls down to Gwen, "Daredevil." She shouts, "It's you! It's really Daredevil!" And Matt Murdock tells her, "Yeah, and you are?" She says, Venom-pool? Gwenum? Venopool. I'm working on a name. Matt tells her, as much fun as beating up ninjas is, tonight they're going to have to try and figure out the larger situation that was the Hand's recent interest in drugs, which is now busted. He then sighs, telling her, "Well, there's always tomorrow. Nice to meet you, Monster Gwen." The next day, Gwen heads to the law firm that she applied to work at when she happens to see Matt Murdock sitting across the table. She dumps the paperwork for her boss, shouting, "Hi, Matt Murdock!" She takes her seat and begins to doodle while Matt explains that this firm's client facility produces a noxious and potentially hazardous substance that is spreading across a 5-block radius. Melville says that there is no evidence that anything that their client is working with is hazardous to humans. It's just hot sauce. As the two of them go back and forth, Gwen puts on the finishing touches to one of her drawings, and it's Matt Murdock as Daredevil because he's so hot. Venom then tells Gwen, "We should kill your boss. He's being mean to the cute boy that you like." And as Matt leaves, Melville asks if anything's wrong. Gwen snaps back, telling him, "Of course not." Melville then reaches down, grabbing the notes that Gwen was taking, telling her that he needs to get prepped just in case this actually does go to court. She smiles and nods and then realizes that she just handed her boss a sheet of paper that says Matt Murdock is Daredevil. Maybe she shouldn't have been doodling. She runs out of the office asking what she should do, and Venom says, "We should just kill him." And Gwen tells him, "I'm trying not to do that." So Venom sighs, pulling the fire alarm. The entire office exits the building, and Melville shouts that he's gonna go work from home. He can't deal with this now. He gets into his car and he leaves, and Venom says, "We should go to his house and kill him there. We can then get the folder." Gwen says, "Just stop it! We don't need to go there right now." But as she leaves, Matt Murdock spots her and starts to follow. A short while later, Gwen makes it to her boss's apartment to find him going through the paperwork. Venom shouts, "Just kill him! Save the cute lawyer devil! We are hungry!" The mask begins to wrap back around Gwen, and she says, well, he is a terrible boss. But just before she can jump in, Matt punches her and says that he's starting to think that she's actually a serial killer. She swings back, telling him, "You don't understand, I'm trying to protect you." And as the two of them struggle, Gwen throws Matt inside of the apartment, and Melville shouts, "To me, my ninja!" Gwen says, "Wait, what?" And Matt tells her, "You'll see." A few seconds later, the hand ninjas appear, and Gwen says, "Of course! My boss is actually evil." While Matt and Gwen start taking out the ninjas, Melville grabs a gun from his desk and he fires it at Matt Murdock. Gwen quickly creates a shield to block the shot, but in turn, it's reflected back, hitting Melville in the chest. He begins to fall backwards, crashing through his window, and then Gwen swoops up the doodle, revealing who Matt Murdock's identity really is, before anyone has a chance to notice that she did it. Matt looks around and says that they should probably go, and Gwen says that's probably a good idea. And a short while later, along the rooftops, Matt says that this is not among his ideas of how he thought his secret identity would be in jeopardy. She nervously laughs, and Matt hops off the ledge, stating, "Duty calls. Maybe we'll see each other again next time in a bad guy thing. Thanks for trying not to kill anyone." She tries to contain her excitement that Matt implied that they might see each other again, and Venom says, "Look, it was good that your boss died. This is what we wanted." And then Matt returns, stating, "Actually, I don't see any reason why we can't patrol together." Venom begins to hiss, telling him, "I don't like this. Something doesn't feel right." And Gwen tells him, "Just relax. What's the worst that can happen?" As she follows Matt around the corner, Venom tells her, "Run! Before!" And the two of them are teleported away. Moments later, Matt climbs back up the building, stating, "Actually, I just thought about something. Maybe we should patrol together." But that's when he discovers that Gwen is already gone. Next up is issue 3. What if Ghost Rider got it? Over at the Shield facility, Dr. Calvin Zabo, the mutagenic drug dealer, is getting ready to be transported to another jail. The officer tells everyone that he has an incriminating testimony, so there will be plenty of people trying to make this as difficult as possible. As soon as the convoy leaves, the officer spots someone ready to shoot them with a rocket launcher, and they immediately engage. Explosions begin to go off, and the officer on the side says, "That didn't take very long for that to start." Calvin laughs, telling him, "What can I say? I'm an extremely popular biosadist." Outside of the truck, it's become a complete war zone as every villain across the city is trying to capture Calvin. One, though, jumps down, slamming one of the trucks, shouting, "Come chase my manhugs of doom!" Calvin asks, "Is that a tentacled yeti in a red mask?" And the officer says, "Uh-huh." So Calvin then says, "Octo Squatch Pool!" And the officer tells him that it is the nastiest sounding name that she has ever heard. Just then, a fiery wheel drives over one of the villains, and the current Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes, along with the Venom symbiote, shouts, "More heat!" While killing everyone with his chain and flail, Venom shouts, "Such sinewy sense." Venom then hooks his chains up, lifting the car onto the convoy, letting it eat the flying monkey men. Octo Squatchpool shouts to Venom, "I have kill cuddles for everyone," and he smashes another truck. Venom then turns to save the officers flung from the truck and then uses them to beat Octo Squatchpool. Venom then tries to wrap Octo Squatchpool up while the last of the convoy speeds by running them over. The truck spins out crashing, and just as Calvin says, "I think I'm getting a migraine," Venom rips open the hatch, telling him, "Boo." The officer jumps out of the truck with Calvin telling Venom, "I would like to thank you for defeating Octo Squatchpool. I'm pretty sure you didn't mean to concuss my men." But before she can finish, Venom opens his mouth, letting his tongue wrap around the officer's neck, shouting, "Silence! Be still or be tasted." A few moments later, Venom pulls his tongue back and says, "Fixations of justice, moral balance, basic human goodness, disgusting!" And he smacks her away, and Calvin gets back up asking, "What are you?" Venom shouts, "Once upon a time, there was a boy named Robbie Reyes who was possessed by a fiend. In his limited way, he worked with a parasite, serving the greater good. But with all of his luck, a second fiend found him, and now he is our host, the Rider." As Venom talks, he sniffs the air and he tells Calvin, "You don't smell afraid. Why is that, we wonder?" Calvin grins as he has an ace up his sleeve. He has a feeling in his bones. And Venom says, "You must be referring to the deal that you made with that mercenary known as Crossbones. He was to swoop in and come to the rescue, right?" Robbie's car burps, regurgitating Crossbones' half-ingested body. And Venom tells you, "How do you think we found you?" Calvin turns and begins to run, but before he can get very far, Venom chains him up, and Robbie breaks out, telling him, "Please, don't kill the innocents!" Venom pulls him back in, telling him, "Don't worry, we've come for his sin." Venom holds Calvin close and performs the penance kiss, sucking the sin out of Calvin and tossing his body to the side. The car starts to eat up the discarded body, and then Venom begins to feel something Suddenly he's pulled apart and teleported away, and as his body reappears, he shouts, "Who dares abduct me?" And Steve Rogers tells him, "Ask not what your symbiote can do for you, but what you can do for your symbiote." Now it's time for issue 4. What if Old Man Logan got a Venom symbiote? Off in the wastelands, the young Bruce Banner beats down on Logan, asking how he could keep this from him. Logan tries to tell him wait, but as Bruce kicks him again, he shouts, "It's been 15 years of lies! You're the one who killed my father!" Bruce Banner Jr. walks away and Logan tells him, "Come back." And Bruce tells him, "I don't care anymore, I want you dead now." The morning sun begins to shine in as Logan wakes up from the same nightmare in the drunken haze. Without so much as a word, the door to the motel room is kicked in and Warren, the man that was formerly known as Angel, steps in. A little while passes and Logan starts to come to the realization that he's in a truck and that he sees Warren again. He shouts that he thought he was dead and Warren says, "Not quite. I've been looking for you after what happened at the mansion." Logan groans, telling him, "I spent the last 70 years trying to forget that mansion. After Red Skull, the Hulk gang, I finally moved on." Logan then stops and asks him, "Where the hell are we going anyway? Where have you been?" Warren tells him that he disappeared. He figured Red Skull would come back for another wing, and then he heard he was killed. But now there's a new crop of young mutants being trained, the new X-Men in the making, and he had to see it for himself. He goes on stating that there's also something that he found out about his son. They're gonna go see him now. Logan shouts, "That's impossible. I saw his body with my own eyes. Now stop the truck!" After asking a few more times and not listening, Warren pulls up to Xavier's old mansion in Westchester. The two get out and they walk towards the building as Logan says that he never really wanted to come back here. "It looks like hell. This is the place where Red Skull used me to kill everyone. Cyclops, Jubilee, Beast, and the kids, all of them." Logan walks through the door shouting, "Scotty!" And then suddenly Warren springs out a mechanical wing and throws the blades into Logan's back. He tells him that they are going to make this place his tomb. Now this time he won't be leaving. A little while later, Logan opens his eyes and he sees Bruce, Hawkeye's daughter Ashley, and Warren staring right back at him. After realizing the situation, he shouts, "What the hell is this?" Bruce steps up, telling him, "After the night that I learned what really happened to my father, I found out that not only did you have my family taken away, but you took away my entire empire." Logan shouts, "It was an empire of evil." And Bruce yells back at him, "But it was my birthright." Ashley then steps up, telling him Bruce's journey landed him on her doorstep, and they shared a common interest. Warren had his own reasons for joining. Ashley reaches out, grabbing Logan's face, telling him, "You've made a lot of enemies. And I've been looking forward to this since you and my deadbeat dad killed my men and crushed my operation." Logan says, "Clint just wanted to bring you home." And Ashley snaps back, "Hawkeye was old and washed up, just like you. But now, you're gonna help me get it all back." Bruce laughs, telling him, "That's right. You're about to be swallowed up and spit back out, and then we're gonna use your DNA to make Wolverine clones." A worried look comes over Logan's face and he asks, "Do you really think this is the first attempt to clone me?" Ashley then shouts for Warren to open the door, and across the room a giant metal door slides open. She creates a web whip and cracks it, causing the symbiote-covered devil dinosaur to come out. He gathers all of his strength to break free from the web bindings, and Ashley laughs, webbing his hands together again, telling him, "Tell Hawkeye hello for me." Logan shouts, "You're gonna see him before I will," and then he pulls on the webbing, flinging Ashley towards him. As soon as she flies by Devil Dinosaur opens up, chomping down on her. Logan then starts to run towards Devil Dinosaur, and he jumps up, stabbing into his eyes. He whips around, knocking Logan off, and then he bites down, swallowing Logan whole. Bruce watches and says, "Looks like we're done for now." And Warren asks, "Shouldn't we check to make sure that he's dead?" Bruce tells him, "Nah, we have to wait for the symbiote enzymes to bond with his DNA. It'll be a few days, we'll come back." Just then, the Devil Dinosaur groans, and the symbiote starts to suck into its mouth. Moments later, the symbiote-infused Logan rips out a Devil Dinosaur's stomach and lunges at Bruce and Warren. Warren shouts that the symbiote must have sensed his healing factor. Logan then pulls back a claw, telling Bruce, "You're weak. Your father, the Bruce that I knew, would be ashamed of what you've become." Bruce hulks out, grabbing Warren by his wings, throwing him towards Logan, telling him, "This is our chance." As Logan and Warren begin to fight, Bruce makes his escape through the back, and Warren kicks Logan back, shouting, "You've always been a killer! This is for all the innocent lives you've taken!" His metal wing unfolds and more blades shoot out towards Logan, but this time the symbiote catches them, throwing them back. A blade sticks into Warren, and Venom tells Logan, "That's it. Just feed on that rage. We better hurry. We don't want the little brat to get away." Logan hurries down the hallway to catch up with Bruce, and as he does, Bruce reaches out, grabbing Logan, slamming him into a wall. Bruce grips down on Logan's throat, telling him, "I'm gonna finish what you started." And the tendrils of Venom creep out, and Logan says, "Yes, it is time for us to end this." And he kicks Bruce in the back. The tendrils wrap around Bruce's neck, and Venom shouts, "That's it. Kill the boy." Logan pulls his face out of the symbiote and shouts, "No, I can't do this. He's like a son to me." And a black portal opens up behind Logan, and Logan goes on, stating, "I kept the truth away from you because I loved you. The portal closes and he went missing. And that's when Steve Rogers told Old Man Logan, "That's real sweet of you. But now man up. We got a war to win." And now it's time for the last issue of Edge of Venomverse, issue 5. What if Deadpool got it back? As Wade Wilson sits in a tree eating a tapeworm-infested apple, he says, "You know, we found tapeworm larvae in fossilized species of a dinosaur shark. That prehistoric shark poop, full of little bundles of parasitic joy." True story. So here I am, hoping that nobody goes poking around my VMs, 270 million years from now. He tosses the apple and tells the owl that he was next to, "It's good to have this nice chat. I gotta get to work, though." He jumps up and climbs up into Ripley Diagnostics building, stating, "Peekaboo!" Turns out the naughty doctor doesn't want to share his new toys at the Pentagon. Wait, did I just say doctor? I meant parasitologist. Augmented biological symbiotes. Icky stuff. He starts to look around and he sees one Dr. Scott appear and he says, "You really need to work on your lurching." Anyway, what's the haps, craps? Cat got your tongue? Tapeworms begin to extend from the doctor's mouths, and Wade cuts off Dr. Scott's head, telling him, "I never kiss on the first date." The head flies off, and the worms reach out, grabbing it and reattaching it. And so Wade says, "That is easily the grossest thing that I've seen all day." Or actually, maybe like within the top 3 of the grossest things I've seen all day. The doctor shuffled forward, telling Wade, "We are now your masters." And Wade says, "Haha, this has been fun, but it's probably time that the tapeworms get back in the jar." Dr. Scott leaps forward, grabbing Wade, letting the tapeworms crawl onto him, and that's when Wade notices a jar on the shelf. He looks at it, and it says, "Venom Symbiote," and he sings, "Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to bond with you again." He punches the glass, and the moment that he does, the symbiote begins to wrap itself around Wade. Suddenly, with a burst of energy, the doctors are thrown aside, and Wade stands up shouting, "Now that's what I'm talking about." He begins to pull the tapeworms out of his skin, stating, "This tapeworm detox is something else." He looks back at Dr. Scott, and then he grabs his leg, throwing him into the others. Dr. Scott's head begins to crawl away, stating, "We have been released. We are Legion. We are." And Wade stomps on the head, telling him, "You need a little less monologuing, more squishing." After a bit of investigating, Wade sets out to St. McCready Hospital to hunt down the rest of the bad guys. But first, he needed to make sure that he flushed out the rest of the tapeworms from his system. As he swung by the hospital to find the doctors in the middle of a parasitic liver transplant, he breaks through the window, shouting for them to stop! Oh, wait, I'm too late, huh? The patient on the table jumps up at Wade, knocking him down, and then Wade pushes back on the patient, pulling the parasite out. The parasite then grabs Wade, throwing him into the defibrillator, and Wade reaches for it, stating, "I wish I knew how to quit you." He takes the defibrillator and shocks himself, shocking the parasites off, and says, "Man, I felt that one of the gonards." The parasite then jumps back into the patient and begins to run out, and Wade shouts, "Wait! Come back with that meat suit!" He bursts through the doors, and other patients that have been a part of the transplant project come out of the rooms. Wade tries to fight back the parasites, but with so many of them, the tapeworms begin to slither down his throat. Inside of Wade's body, the tapeworms begin to make their way to his heart, and they begin biting and chewing away at it. Then the black goop shouts out, grabbing and pulling the worms off. Wade begins to cough up the worms, stating, "I've never felt so violated before," and that is saying something. One of the tapeworms begin to crawl over towards a nurse, so Wade grabs it and throws it against the wall, shouting, "Not so fast!" He then turns back to the other infected and begins eating and killing them, stating, "It is so good to be us again." With the parasites destroyed, he says, "You complete us!" The nurse from before, still not knowing what is going on, takes the bone saw and cuts off Wade's arm, screaming. As he waves his nub, spraying blood at the nurse, he shouts, "Hey, hey, why are the good guys here?" As the nurse flails and screams as she runs away, Wade says, "A simple thank you, Wade, I love you, Wade, hold me, Wade, would have been nice." He reattaches his arm, stating how about him and the symbiote go do what heroes do, and be heroic. He goes across the hospital delivering babies, making balloon animals out of tapeworms, and helping the elderly. And after his services are rendered, Wade looks at the window stating, "Man, saving lives, inspiring minds, filleting tapeworms. Our job is done here." He jumps out the window and a black portal opens, grabbing him and pulling him through. As he falls through it into the now destroyed city, he hears a voice telling him to get up. He jumps up shouting to give him one good reason not to rip his head off and eat it with great poupon. Steve's voice tells him there's a war going on and we're going to need all the help that we can get. Wade reaches up to grab Steve's hand, telling him, "Well, when you put it that way, sign me up, Sarge." Steve helps Wade up, telling him, "Actually, it's Captain." There you have it. Now that we've had all 4 of these and the Wolverine one, which I will link down below, which of these Venoms is your favorite? You have all these wonderful options of Venoms to pick from. And next week when we do Venomverse, we'll have a lot more to pick from. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss that next week. You can also follow me on Twitter at ComicStorian to get single tweet reviews, where I pretty much post my opinion of a comic book in 140 characters right after I read it. And you can also follow us on Instagram at ComicStorian, where we're putting some of the best panels from the comic books up, so you guys can give us your opinions on those as well. I'll see you next time right here at Comic Story.
Okay, guys, I think that is going to have to be done. That's going to have to be finished. If I keep tweaking it, if I keep putting more onto it, it's going to look absolutely horrible. I'm really not too bad with it now. It's gotten to a point where I think I'm kind of happy with it. We've got the nose in a darker shade. We've got the eyes here. I've put those black lines back on again. Kind of accentuates that Venom's taking over and just sort of coming out of his eye. That's kind of what I try to go with on the paper version, as you can see up there. But yeah, I've tried to put a bit of detail on the eye, not too much. I think I'll just do eyes next time, and just sort of see if I can just do eyes and see how good I can get an eye going, so I don't have to focus on everything at the same time. But yeah, hopefully you have liked this one, guys. I really have enjoyed drawing this. I've enjoyed trying to get it to sort of look like the paper version as well. And again, if I didn't make that silly mistake at the very beginning of when after I inked the Venom, I did the Eddie Brock side, and if I didn't make that mistake, it would look probably a hell of a lot better, because the lines that I put in will be still there. They were from the paper version. It was basically a straight copy, but now it's still a straight copy, but I've had to sort of add bits where it wasn't before. But I do that anyway when I do digital version, isn't it? Yeah, digital version anyway. But yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed this one, guys. My name has been Balut084. If you would like a copy of this for your phone, then let me know, and I'll send it out either via the via Instagram. You can take a quick pic on your phone for that as a screen save. I don't know how you screen save? No, screen capture. You can do that if you would like, guys. But I have been going into more of making phone covers, not covers that go around your phone, but the wallpapers. If you would like wallpapers from me, or if you would like a character created for you to go on your phone, let me know in your comment section. Otherwise, go over to Instagram, check out what else I get up to, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed this one. Leave a like if you have, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys, and bye till next time. Keep watching, because there's going to be some gaming, VR gaming, and loads more art. Thanks for watching, guys. Click those links and hit the middle to subscribe. Don't forget to ding that bell. See you next time for more Comic Storian and drawing.